PowerCircle. Cookup.
Hey, you, right there. Y'all see it. Watch this video to the end, boy.
Part about Slick Rick, he had no security. He was just with his wife. That's all he had with him. Whoever else was with him there didn't even matter. So I walk up to him. I ain't even wasting no time. I walked right up to him. I shook his hand. He showed some love. And the first things I told that man was, thank you. You the reason why I do this. And you was one of the first guys, one of the first raps I ever knew front to back. We used to train, listen, we used to know children's story front to back. You know, and my pops, he used to always like, you know, back then in the 80s, in the 90s, he was young, and it was his younger days, so how can I say it for lack of a better term? He was very dope boy fresh, let's just say. And a lot of those times, a lot of the dudes from that era, you always had to get your car washed. You had to have a fly car, and you played the latest music as was around at that time. And so my pops had all the heavyweights of that time always on repeat, and Slick Rick was one of those people. So he would always kind of test me to see if I knew word for word children's story or a random song like that. And that was the song outside of Big Daddy Kane. I'm talking Big Daddy Kane Raw. I knew certain songs like by heart for the amount of times that was being played. And Slick Rick, forget about it. So I walk up, so I told him, thank you. You're the reason why I do this. And I appreciate it. And he took a picture with me and Jay. And at that time, you know, we had the Nextel phones, and you know, we had burnout phones then. So we both took pictures with our phones, like boom. We kept it. We ain't got the phones no more, nothing like that. But back then, I mean, that was in the heat of the moment. So then, as I'm doing that, I look to my side. It's Dougie Fresh. And before I knew it, he was on his way up to the stage, and then they get to going off into their routine. They started off with the show, obviously Lottie Dottie, then he broke off into a couple joints, his solo joints. Then after that, so I'm seeing what's going on, then I see Sean Marion, then we looking like, man, what kind of party is this? And it went from here to the roof. This party was lit. Next thing you know, you start seeing all these different old school artists coming out of nowhere. So you had Dougie Fresh and Slick Rick, Too Short. There was a couple more people there that probably either performed there after that. I can't recall, but them was the main two artists I seen there. I know I'm leaving somebody out, but after I seen Slick Rick and Too Short, it really didn't matter. But I seen Too Short so many times in Chicago. He's a constant in Chicago, especially back then. So we get to walking around. No security stopping us, no nothing. We went around to the other side, they hit this ballroom, and you seen all these different ball players. A lot of Heat players was there. You seen Antoine Walker. You seen a lot of other players from, you know, you seen Bobby Simmons. At the time, I think he was playing with Milwaukee Bucks. If I'm not mistaken. We just walking around the whole club. So this was like my first time literally just walking around this whole entire club. The few times I've been there, when I look around the atmosphere and I'm seeing all the love, wasn't no melee, wasn't no fight besides, well, I'm gonna have a part 2 to this story, but that's my Too Short story, and I'm gonna leave that for another time. I'm gonna go back to this moment, but back to Slick Rick. One thing about Slick Rick, he didn't act Hollywood not one time. He had a sense of humility, and I've met a few old school artists and new school artists. They was very nasty, not to me per se, just by me watching just how they conduct themselves and just watching just from up close, but in the distance, giving them their space, but watching certain things. So it's always refreshing to see that some of your idols, some of your favorites that you may have grew up with, or if you're just a fan of a person, that they have some sort of sense of humility. That time I never forgot. I mean, I was on cloud nine. To this day, I never stopped talking about that when I met Slick Rick for just that short amount of time right before he was getting on stage. You know what I mean? That just put me on charge, and they kind of put an extra battery pack. Like a lot of people I met a lot of people, don't get me wrong, and I still got a bucket list of people I still want to meet, but that particular night was the most, and I definitely appreciate that night. I'm glad we went to that party that night, but this party was off the chain because they had the right music. I'm bogus because I can't remember. I'm gonna have to say this at another time, but Slick Rick, Dougie Fresh, Too Short, and it was a couple more old school artists that were there, and I'm wrong. I don't even think it was Rob Bass. I want to say it was Rob Bass, but I could be wrong. Those three brothers, I definitely distinctively remember being at that club that night, and we had a ball. That was one time I could say I somewhat fanned out. I wasn't like starstruck. Nah, I was starstruck when I met Mike that one time on accident, which I think I told that story on Sneaker Diaries, and if I didn't, I'll probably get around to it. Let me know in the comment box. Before I go any further, let me shoot out some plugs real quick. I want to give a shout out to all the cast members of our upcoming piece, No Cops. It's a comedy that we're working on back home in Chicago. I've been working on it since we started the negotiations in October, and then I started writing this piece in November. We're in almost the pre-production phases. We did a nice amount of casting. I'm still looking for a few pieces, by the way, so that's why I want to plug this real quick. I suppose have been made a formal introduction to this whole thing. I've said it a few times for those of you that's in the Chicagoland, Indiana area, holla at me. I mean, I got a lot of other things in the works, so as y'all know, I've been on this film journey. I'm really going full throttle with it right now, and so this is where I'm at. So we're getting to the end of this episode. I'm definitely finna cut it short. I'm definitely taking donations for sure. I'm gonna leave all of that down here below at this point in time. You don't have to, you're not really forced to, but if you feel it on your heart to do so, it definitely helps towards these productions, because we do have camera crews, we got production costs could be through the roof. Everything is self-funded. I don't have no investors or anything like that, so we're trying to just keep this thing going. We're organically doing this. You definitely, with your donation, you definitely help everybody that's behind the scenes. It takes care of equipment rentals and travel and all these different things. We'll get around to that, but right now we are already in pre-production with a few other productions that we will be putting out on TFE TV for sure, exclusively. Y'all already know that. And then we got a lot of bigger productions that we're working towards that we're getting ready to release sometime next year on a few other platforms where you go watch movies and stream movies at. So just be on the lookout for that. I mean, I've been kind of prepping you guys about that. I think I've been pretty transparent with what's to come and how I was gonna fall back a bit, but not slack off on the content. So for the most, I think I've been a man of my word, I would say. Appreciate everybody giving me all the feedback from I just dropped some music. I haven't dropped no music in a long time, but I dropped Therapy Session 5. I decided to give y'all a full-length composition with this one, as opposed to all the shorts and the reels and stuff like that. So I appreciate the feedback we're getting so far, slowly but surely. We got it circulating in a lot of different platforms, of course. You can follow me on whatever platform you want at TFE Boss. Y'all pretty much will see it probably up here or down here. Wherever you see it at, go ahead and show a brother some love. Definitely make sure you like and subscribe and hit that notification button. It's greatly appreciated. For some reason, I got a whole nother rant with YouTube again, but it is what it is. I'm not really stressing over that because, you know, we're trying to get monetized, and so we can do a lot more. We're trying to get that advertisement because we're not getting paid advertising. We're not really getting paid yet from any of these platforms, so to speak. At least not yet. We're not monetized yet, but we're still growing, and I can't do that without you guys. So please hit that like button, comment, like, subscribe, you know, say something. Let that YouTube universe know that we are in the building, because we need that. All I can do is just keep being consistent, giving you more content, more quality content to the best of my ability. Shouts out to Headbusters Food Company. And as y'all know, I got my own seasoning. You can go ahead and purchase that. We got an online link. I think if you go back a few episodes, you know, I talk sparingly about it. Matter of fact, I talk a lot about it because we need y'all to go ahead, go to that. I'll let you know if you want that seasoning. I will definitely leave the link down below where you can go get that. Headbusters Knockout All-Purpose Seasoning, $10 plus shipping and handling. Don't take my word for it. It's unanimous at this point. Anybody, shouts out to everybody that even purchased a seasoning or two. I got people that's buying them by the box. Got people that's buying them by the 2s, 3s, or whatever. But don't just buy one. You gonna have to buy more than one, because you're gonna want more than one. You're gonna want some more. So don't just buy one. I always say buy 10 or better. I thank y'all for y'all support. We can only get better. A lot of people been asking me about a lot of different things. So I'm gonna be doing a lot of work in Chicago, although we are in Vegas. I do still do a lot of work in Chicago. Obviously, I'm gonna be back and forth. Been filming a lot of different things out there. And also shout out to Dallas. I will be there soon. I will be back in Phoenix, and definitely I'll be back in LA. Wherever we go, we're gonna definitely bring you guys with us. We trying to do more podcasting. I got This Is Not a Podcast. I could have easily made this episode 100, but I'm still thinking about how we're gonna do episode 100, which is why you haven't seen another This Is Not a Podcast episode. But just know that a lot of the things that I've had in mind, it just, I guess it's not the right thing to do, so I don't try to stress it too much, but I always try to do my best to give you something special because I care about you guys a great deal. We want to grow. We want to continue to grow because this is my journey. I can only get better. So I'm going to try to get in front of this microphone. I'm going to try to do as much content as possible in between time. I'm going to definitely take y'all on this journey behind the scenes with this film thing and introduce you to some of the crew, of course. I mean, we got some old faces. Y'all do know Movie Dude Drew. You might even see a Movie Dude Drew sighting. We're going to be at a couple studios. We're gearing up for In the Stew season 4. We got a different format right now, and we're working out the kinks right now. So it's a lot of things going on in Chicago for sure. So that's why I'm talking about this stuff now. Working on my pop-up. But see, I kind of pushed a few things back. Obviously, we're dealing with a death in the family and a few other things. So a lot of things, not to say been derailed, but postponed. So my apologies to a lot of people. Thank y'all for all the everybody on Facebook that send their condolences and love to the rest of the family and everything like that, which I'm pretty sure they appreciate. I appreciate it. The show must go on. I'm going to say that. And so again, we got a lot of different things in store. So this is my way of keeping my word. And I appreciate it. Go check out that therapy session 5. I think that kind of explained everything in a nutshell. Like I said, we got a lot of new content, music, you name it, we got it. Trust me, the wait, you ain't gonna be waiting too long. Just know that I'm working very, very hard behind the scenes. I'm just a one-man band still. So right now I gotta set the table, and then before you know it, we gone. So I'm gonna cut this short. We gonna jump back on here again. I promise you, I'm gonna give y'all more content. I got a lot more to talk about. Got a lot more to elaborate on a lot of these different things. We're gonna talk about just the different eras. So we gotta touch on music. A lot of people been asking me about music reviews. We gonna get around to that. I skipped a lot of that these days because I really haven't been in the mood to really do music reviews these days, and I'm gonna talk about that a little bit more, but we gonna leave it there. So anyway, once again, make sure y'all like and subscribe and hit that notification button. As always, keep God first, stay sucker free, and by all means get to the money. Peace and love, stay healthy, and I'm out this joint.